Following a 7-5 victory against the Arizona Diamondbacks, Yankees general manager Brian Cashman and players reacted to the MLB trade deadline and the decision not to add any players.
My job obviously is constantly trying to improve this club, and we're doing it for a long time, and just in terms of this circumstance, we didn't get close to anything, but we certainly knocked on all doors, had a lot of ideas and exchange of ideas with clubs in our effort to improve. But the fallback has always been we know we have a good club already, and the job is to obviously look under every rock to see if you can turn up something to add to what we already have.
I think the talent in here to win the World Series is here. Guys that we need to pitch better, hit better, play some better defense than we have the last few weeks. But when guys are playing to their potential in this room, we're good, really, really good with the personnel that we have. That's not including the guys on the IL that are going to come back, and some big names that I've yet to see in the minors, but I've heard really good things about that could really help us. So, we are who we are now, and I think we're good enough to win a World Series with who we have.
No, I mean, it's something that's out of our control. Obviously, if someone comes in, then one of our guys go out. So, we just go out and do what we need to do. That's kind of the bottom line for us.
We begin our look at sports on the baseball diamond. The Bronx Bombers welcome Boston to the stadium this weekend following last weekend's debacle. The Yanks are hoping for similar returns to their early season success against the Bo Sox, where they had won 6 of 7 games. Boston, of course, took the first 3 of 4 in Beantown before the Pinstripers managed to win on Sunday Night Baseball last Sunday. The Mets, meanwhile, they travel to Pittsburgh following their series with the Chicago White Sox. The Pirates have struggled this year and should remain an easy target for the Amazons. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. In MLS action, the New York Red Bulls will take on Toronto at 6 p.m. Saturday, while NYCFC will face Salt Lake City. That game gets underway at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. In American football, the New York Giants are gearing up for their first preseason action. They will take on the Jets at MetLife Stadium next Thursday, August 8th. That's a 7 p.m. tip-off. On Monday, I'll give you my top 10 NFL preseason predictions. The New Orleans Saints are on that list, and this guy is a big reason why. The Saints have relied heavily on receiver Michael Thomas the past few years, and Thomas knew he had leverage. Thomas's training camp holdout didn't last very long. He got the extension he wanted, and it was a huge one. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported Wednesday morning that Thomas and the Saints had agreed on a 5-year, $100 million extension with $61 million guaranteed. That's the most guaranteed money for any non-quarterback offensive player in NFL history. With that, Drew Brees' top target will be back with the Saints. The Dallas Cowboys and running back Ezekiel Elliott have been in the headlines since NFL training camps began, but because of Elliott's contract status, on Tuesday, they were in the headlines for a different reason. A Texas man filed a $20 million lawsuit against Elliott and the Cowboys, alleging that they covered up a 2017 car accident. Frisco, Texas resident Ronnie Hill filed that lawsuit seeking at least $20 million. Via the Dallas Morning News, court documents say the Cowboys interfered with Frisco police's investigation into a January 11th, 2017 car crash to make sure Elliott wouldn't miss Dallas's playoff game 4 days later. Really interesting sports story, my friends, if that is true. I'm excited to see the New York Football Giants take on the Washington Redskins this year, and a lot of that excitement centers around Landon Collins. The new Redskins safety isn't over his beef with Dave Gettleman, not even close. Collins, who spent his first 4 years in the league playing for Gettleman and those New York Football Giants, has been very public about his dislike for his former general manager. The 25-year-old will go head-to-head with Gettleman twice this season after landing in D.C. They'll travel to the Giants in Week 4 and then host New York in late December. He gets the comment of the week. Collins said he'd like to run Gettleman over on the field. LeBron James received some critical comments this week for being amped up at his son's AAU games. The all-time great had some sideline antics and layup line dunks. Pretty unfair, just my take. Side note here, Bronny's still just 14 years old. He hasn't even had time to spend a day as a high school student yet, and he's been on Instagram for just 2 months, and he already has nearly 3 million followers. Top NBA draft pick Zion Williamson has 4 million. That kind of fame as the son of the greatest to ever play, perhaps, means that everyone is going to expect Junior to follow in those same footsteps as one of the best in the NBA. In hockey, the New Jersey Devils continue to make big offseason moves. The Devils acquired left wing Nikita Gusev from the Vegas Golden Knights and signed him to a 2-year contract with an average annual salary of $4.5 million. The Devils sent a 2020 third-round draft pick and a 2021 second-round pick to Vegas in the deal that was announced on Monday. The 27-year-old Gusev has spent his entire professional career in the Russian Hockey League. He is a 4-time KHL All-Star who had 17 goals and 65 assists this past season. He has 119 goals and 219 assists and 391 career games. That's a steal. The Golden Knights acquired Gusev from Tampa Bay during the 2017 expansion draft for a pair of draft picks. He joined Vegas for the 2019 playoffs, but did not play. We hit the C list for Dame time, and a Dame time wish that I just don't see happening. It was a sad week for a pair of former New York Knicks. Jeremy Lin was emotional about his struggles in free agency after winning an NBA championship with Toronto this past offseason. He was in tears about not being able to find an NBA job. It's looking more and more like Jay Lin will sign up to play overseas. I think it's possible the 30-year-old makes it back to the NBA this year. I can't say the same about Carmelo Anthony, even if NBA All-Star Damian Lillard is going to bat for him. The Portland Trailblazers guard wants Melo to get to the NBA and get the send-off that he feels he deserves. Lillard tried to start a movement on Twitter on Monday suggesting Anthony should be signed and given that farewell tour. The 35-year-old Anthony remains unsigned after playing in just 10 games with the Houston Rockets last season. Anthony wasn't a great fit in Houston, of course, and the team wound up parting ways with Anthony in November. Anthony was eventually traded to the Chicago Bulls, who had no interest in playing him at all. While Lillard doesn't think that's acceptable and an acceptable ending for one of the best players of the era, he doesn't think the Trailblazers can bring Anthony in either, of course. As for Anthony, he's hoping he will get another shot at the NBA, according to his trainer. There hasn't been much buzz about Anthony just yet. Melo signed with the Rockets for the veterans minimum last season. Sadly, I think it's time for Melo to go and play in the Big Three. His bestie in LA, LeBron James, hasn't gotten the Lakers to pull the trigger, and even Dame Time, despite his wishes in social media, can't get Portland to give Melo a deal. Who knows, maybe the Knicks give him a reunion tour, or perhaps the New York Mets will go out and get him, just because it wouldn't make any sense at all. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.